Good evening. It's great to see you all. This is our third HR BizWheel Quarterly event. My name is Tim Ryan. I am the director of StartWheel. Reactor, that is new, so if you're looking for a technology, if you have a technology business, let's talk afterwards. And a board member of HRIC, the Hampton Roads Innovative Collaborative. So on behalf of Dan Bell and the rest of the board, welcome tonight.
Always near the bar.
When we started this, this is our third time. When we started this, we thought maybe we can get 40 or 50 people together. We would alternate between the south side and the peninsula, and the idea was to, let's bring people to different places that they may not otherwise be. Let's bring companies together that may not have an opportunity to talk to one another. And tonight is a perfect example of that. Any small business, startup entrepreneur, they would love to have the opportunity to do business with someone like Newport News Shipbuilding. And I know that that works the other way as well, that Newport News Shipbuilding would love to understand the smaller business footprint. And this is why we're doing events like this. So thank you so much for attending. StartWheel and HRIC, we've been working together for 5 or 6 months, and we're partnered. We're putting together a regional business directory, and we're gathering all the information we can on businesses so we can collaborate with one another. So go to hrbizwheel.org. Make sure your business is in there. We have over 6,000 businesses in the directory right now, but the whole idea is to bring people together, talk to one another, partner with one another, and let's make some business happen. I would like to thank all of our sponsors. The list just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, so thank you to everybody that is sponsored. Next month, we're looking at May timeframe. We're locking in the details, but we're going to be at the Slover Library, fingers crossed. We'll have SVT Robotics, so we'll be in the Norfolk Innovation Corridor with the NIC. And then we're looking to do something with NASA in the fall. So I'd like to thank the City of Newport News for hosting us tonight and the Mariners Museum. And with that said, I'm going to turn the mic over to Howard Haege so that he can share a little bit about the Mariners Museum. Howard.
Great. Thank you all. It's really our honor to be hosting this tonight. And I have to say that as he's listing SVT Robotics and potentially NASA as future sites to host this event, you know, it kind of feels a little bit like maybe the Mariners Museum is a little bit of a throwaway, right? We're just looking for the venue in order to allow Newport News Shipbuilding to kind of talk about what they do, right? But I have to tell you that Newport News Shipbuilding, part of the legacy of Newport News Shipbuilding and well over a century of building great ships, part of that legacy is actually the Mariners Museum. So for those of you that don't know the name Collis P. Huntington, Collis P. Huntington is a rail and coal magnate in the midst of the Industrial Revolution, the mid-1800s, right? Collis P. Huntington and Leland Stanford are the two that drive the golden spikes into the Transcontinental Railroad, right? Collis Huntington, there used to be a provision in the law that said if you bought a piece of property with the intention of putting rail on it, then you got the mineral rights for some number of miles around that rail. So Collis Huntington went where? Straight to West Virginia, Huntington, West Virginia. Bought up a bunch of property. He's now pulling coal out of the ground. Then he's putting it on rail that he owns and running it down here to Newport News. The reason that one of the world's largest coal ports sits at Newport News Point is because of Collis Huntington. And so he's paying people, right, to distribute, to build ships, to finish his coal distribution, and they're not going fast enough for him. So he founds Newport News Shipbuilding Dry Dock Company, right? So now fast forward to 1930. 1930, Collis Huntington's, and by the way, that bust over there is of Collis Huntington. And all the sculpture in this room, which we call the Huntington Room, is all sculpture done by Anna Hyatt Huntington, who was a world-renowned sculptor in the early 20th century, was winning international awards as a female sculptor at a time when female sculptors were not generally recognized as artists. And we're very fortunate to have her collection here. The reason we have her collection here is going to become apparent in a moment, because in 1930, Collis Huntington's son, Archer Huntington, is the owner of Newport News Shipbuilding. And Homer Ferguson is the president of Newport News Shipbuilding. But they've got a shipyard full of workers that aren't building any ships, because 1930, it's the Great Depression. So Archer Huntington and Homer Ferguson bring the shipyard workers here to the campus that we're at today, which then was 800 acres, today is 550 acres, and puts them to work building the iconic Lions Bridge. If you're from the peninsula, you know what I'm talking about. And puts them to work building, actually where we're standing now, right on the other side of this wall, as the original museum. It was essentially a private works project. Number one, good business sense to keep this skilled labor force together during the Depression until such time as we can start building ships again. But we also know, but just looking at the Huntington legacy, that they also cared quite a bit about the families and making sure that those families were fed and taken care of during the Great Depression. And so that legacy, Newport News Shipbuilding founding the Mariners Museum, has resulted in kind of where we're at today. In the late 1990s, the U.S. Congress designated the Mariners Museum is one of two museums that comprise America's National Maritime Museum. We have over 90,000 square feet of gallery space, 295,000 square feet of roofline. We're home to the largest conservation project of its type in the world, the conservation of the USS Monitor here, in the largest and most advanced conservation lab of any maritime museum in the world. And I have to tell you that 6 or 7 years ago, Mariners Museum was not in great shape. We were experiencing everything that the cultural institution industry is experiencing: secular decline, declining visitation at museums, declining revenue at museums. That visitation is aging. That visitation, not particularly diverse, right? And we went about a turnaround that's had a lot of success by pivoting, stopping to think about ourselves as merely an attraction that places us in a transactional relationship with the community, right? The whole goal of which is to try to sell you a ticket to entry, right? And then once you do, I'm trying to move on to you for a gift, and maybe I say thank you because I'm already on to you, right? In order to pay the electric bill, right? Everything is self-centered. And I have to tell you, we pivoted and adopted a lot of the principles that people in this room have built entire businesses around, focused on lean principles, focused on trying to provide value, focused on trying to have empathy for the community that we serve. And so we repositioned as a community resource, focused on servant leadership and so focused on trying to provide value. And I would tell you that the long arc of that journey for us has resulted then in building, going from $0 in endowment 5 years ago to today over 19 million, and we're still growing. We were serving about 9,000 students a year here on educational enrichment programs. Today we're here on track to serve over 20,000 students, 85% of whom are coming here on a free educational enrichment program that we're offering to every public school system in our region. In fact, we're even paying for the transportation to get those kids here. And so I would tell you all of that. We've reduced the debt load on the museum by 41% over the last 5 years, right? But it's all by taking this posture of focusing on value and delivering value to a community that we say that we serve. And again, I'm offering this up because I think that resonates with everybody in the room that's focused on startup, focusing on building businesses and everything else. If we're not delivering value today, we're kind of dead in the water. But I want to go back before I hand the mic over and just say that today, just bringing things full circle, right? Number one, we pull that servant leadership kind of mindset from 1930 that results in the founding of our institution into how we operate today. The other thing is Jennifer Boykin, the president of Newport News Shipbuilding, is the chair of our board today. She's the first sitting president of Newport News Shipbuilding to also be the leader of the Mariners Museum Board since Homer Ferguson founded the museum in 1930. Pretty powerful, pretty compelling. We are incredibly grateful for the relationship with Newport News Shipbuilding. And with that, I just want to say again, welcome to everybody. You really honor us by being here, and can't wait to learn more about all the work, the good work that Newport News Shipbuilding is doing.
Awesome. Well, I don't want to delay. I was super impressed with the display on the other side of the parking lot. If you have not seen that, do check that out. Very, very cool. I expect great things from this presentation as well. So I am going to turn the mic over to Newport News Shipbuilding, and here is Katina Adams.
Good evening, everyone. Tim and Dan, thank you very much for the invitation to participate in the program. Howard, thank you so much for hosting us. And to all of the attendees, on behalf of Newport News Shipbuilding, we thank each of you for being here. I am Katina Adams, and this is my partner in crime, Gary Artybridge. Hopefully you all are networking and connecting and doing what you came to do. If you have not had an opportunity to speak with someone from Newport News Shipbuilding, please do not miss this opportunity. Would everyone from Newport News Shipbuilding just please raise your hand so that the attendees will see who you are and where you are. Rarely will you have an opportunity to have this many shipbuilders in the room. I'm not sure if you're interested in employment at Newport News, if you're a small business and you're interested in partnerships at Newport News, or if you're just here to learn a little bit more about our company. But please do not miss this opportunity. So let me tell you a little something about our corporation. So HII is the name of the corporation, and that no longer stands for Huntington Ingalls Industries. The name is now HII. HII has been ranked by Forbes magazine in 2021 and in 2022 as one of America's best large employers to work for. HII is the only aerospace and defense contractor in the top 40 companies on that list. HII has 3 divisions: Newport News Shipbuilding, which is obviously why we're here tonight to learn about us; Ingalls Shipbuilding, located in Pascagoula, Mississippi; and Mission Technologies, headquartered in McLean, Virginia, but operating in about 50 or more countries. And so we're going to talk about Newport News Shipbuilding. We are the sole designer and builder and refueler of nuclear-powered aircraft carriers. Not sure if you all have seen some of our products. They have been featured on the big screen, most recently in Top Gun Maverick, also in Devotion. So if you have not seen any of those blockbusters from 2022, please check those out. We are also one of 2 shipyards that build and design nuclear-powered submarines, We design, build, maintain, and deactivate the ships that we build. And we are also Virginia's largest industrial employer. We have more than 25,000 employees. So our portfolio, as I mentioned, aircraft carriers. We have, we can start. No, you're fine. I'm sorry. You're fine. So aircraft carriers. So we have currently under construction, we have the CVN 79, which is the John F. Kennedy. We also have the Enterprise, which is the CVN 80. Some of you may remember the Enterprise from CVN 79, which was the first nuclear aircraft carrier many, many years ago. And we have the Doris Miller. And Doris Miller is one of our local heroes here in Newport News Shipbuilding. Newport News, Virginia. We also have our submarine program. We have the Virginia-class submarine program as well as the Columbia-class program. And that program is what we partner with General Dynamics Electric Boat to build these vessels. We have our refueling complex and overhaul program. Currently, we have the George Washington in the yard as well as the Stennis. We have our fleet support program, which we support ships not just at Newport News, but all over the world, ships and boats. We also support Department of Energy contracts at the Kesselring site in upstate New York. And we have a very extensive engineering and planning yard program. So the next few slides, we're going to talk about our mission. And you see on this slide, it reflects the portfolio that I just mentioned before. What I want to highlight here is our next generation submarine program. In Newport News, we are ready and prepared to build the Navy's next submarine, ensuring strategic overmatch well into the future. So in addition to our portfolio being our mission, investing in our future through our people is our mission. And Gary, I'll let you speak to this one.
He was going to kick it back. Again, everybody, good evening. Thank you again, Howard. Thank you, Dan. Thank you for HRIC for this event. Actually, as a shipbuilder, you make me feel bad, Howard, for knowing all that information. So I always learn something new when I get around you about the shipyard, which I've been employed at for 12 years now. But what I like to talk about is, you know, the future through our people. And the biggest reason why I like talking about that is because my role at the shipyard is in community relations. And one of the many responsibilities that I have with that is to actually be involved with education outreach, which kind of also blends in with workforce development. And but you'll see here, you know, the different ways that we're investing into our people. I know many of you, how many of you heard of the apprentice school? Because I think people hear about the apprentice school more than they hear about actual Newport News Shipbuilding. Or some people don't understand that the apprentice school is a part of the Newport News Shipbuilding. And the thing about the apprentice school now is that it's transformed into something totally different than what it was when it was started in 1919. Before, you were just, you know, going through the apprentice school to be educated to learn a new skill in the trades. Since then, it's evolved so much in so many different ways where not only do you go to school to be able to learn a skill of trade, but you also have the opportunity to get your bachelor's degree in engineering and business management through the partnerships that we have here with the local colleges. I wish I would have known about that when I was in high school, because if you know, the apprentice school is earn while you learn. So you get paid, you go to class, and you get a degree. I have an engineering degree. I'm still paying on it. And so just the fact that you're able to, you know, go down that path where you can learn a skilled trade and then also pursue your degree. And not only that, Dr. McCain, who is the director of the apprentice school, and not only she's the director of the apprentice school, but she's the first woman of the to lead the apprentice school and the first Black woman to lead the apprentice school. And she has a very, very stout resume with her background in education coming from Alabama. Our craft learning, like I said, we do a lot of internal training for our employees. And a lot of times people think they have to have certain skills in order to come into the shipyard, which is not 100% true, because we do invest about, what is it, like $900,000, almost close to $1 million in training a year to skill up those that come straight off the street, no experience. And we do it through many different opportunities at the shipyard. So, of course, you know, nothing beats, you know, actually getting that hands-on experience, going through the classroom and things like that. But another selfish promo, if you haven't had a chance, go to the MX trailer. And so now we're taking a lot of that technology as far as augmented reality, virtual reality, using painting simulators, welding simulators, and things like that to be a supplement to the training that we're already doing. And the thing that I love about the technology that we have, and this kind of leads into the pipeline partnerships, is that we get to take that trailer to different schools, and we actually are, being more intentional about our partnerships with the school systems, not only throughout Hampton Roads, but also in areas outside of Hampton Roads and through the state of Virginia. And so that's kind of like our road show as far as getting students exposed to the different career paths that the shipyard have to offer, because as big as the shipyard is, a lot of people don't know what goes on at the shipyard. Even the residents here in Newport News. And every time I go out into the community, I just love to talk about, the opportunities that we have here. And I like to share my story about my career at the shipyard, because I'm living proof that you could pretty much be anything at the shipyard. So like I said, I got my degree in mechanical engineering, came to the shipyard in 2011 as a nuclear engineer, became a training instructor for 2 years, and now I'm a community relations manager. So I went through different areas of the shipyard where you also have people that are medical backgrounds, lawyers, business management, supply chain, things like that. This is just kind of highlighting, a lot of the technology, which, again, when you get a chance, go down to the next trailer, to see how we are using technology to build our ships now. And I'm not going to go through everything, but you get to see things like, additive manufacturing. We're actually now building metal parts for our ships. So if you can think about 3D printing with, plastics, we're actually doing that at the shipyard now with metals. Digital twin, which is pretty much those that are not familiar with that, is an awesome technology where, you get to foresee if there's any issues or anything like that before the ship even comes, for its repair, and you're able to track, the status of different parts throughout the ship. And so, because a lot of times when, in the past, when the ship would come, if there was an issue on the ship, you found out when you exposed it. And now you're able to get ahead of it and be able to track those parts when you go through. Laser scanning, augmented reality, like I talked about. But the biggest thing that has been a big piece of, what we do now, especially for our skilled trades, is before the skilled trades will go down with drawings about this big, and they will have to carry that going up and down, ladders straight up that are on the ships. But now they have tablets now where they're able to, go through the drawings on the tablet. Engineers are able to make resolutions from their desk to update the drawings or the procedures. Before, there was a whole paper process. Engineers had to, go through the whole administrative process in order to get that done. So really trying to streamline everything. And then, of course, data analytics is a big thing. Investing in our future through our facilities. So we have a lot of different facilities that has been built over the years. And you'll see right here, like the different things that we've been able to do since the early 2000s. We have, I think, the most cranes on this side of the hemisphere. I can't even remember the exact number of cranes, but we have cranes everywhere that can actually, lift super lifts, what we call, where they actually lift up sections of the actual ship, the aircraft carriers. And then we also are currently building facilities where we're able to actually, aircraft carriers are able to be built indoors now. Right now, it was in the dry docks, in the open air. Now we're in the process of developing a facility because, if you've ever been a skilled trade or worked with your hands and had to work outside in the heat, been a welder, we had to have on the whole full gear and all of that, and it's 98 degrees outside. We're trying to accommodate, climate control for those that are out there actually doing the physical work. And then also have facilities where we build our submarines and things like that. And one of the things about us building a submarine is we actually partner with another company. It's called Electric Boat by General Dynamics up in Connecticut. And literally, when I tell people this, it's like, y'all really build half of the submarine. We build half of the submarine, they build the other half, and we alternate shipping them back and forth to basically join those submarines together, which is why we are able to produce so many submarines at one time. And you want to talk about this because this is you.
I'll take it. So I represent supply chain. Gary represents a department in HR. So of course it's only appropriate that I talk about the supply base. So we at Newport News, we understand that in order to manage our supply base, we need to take a different approach. We have over 2,500 suppliers in 48 states. More than 60% of those suppliers are small businesses. We spend billions of dollars annually with our supply base. A significant portion of that, more than 40% of that, goes to small businesses each year. About 1/3% of our contracts is material that we procure, products and services that we are subcontracting to contractors and subcontractors. And so we understand that in order to create the supply base that we're looking for, we are going to need to invest in strategic investments and partner with new suppliers. And so in summary, Newport News' mission is not just our portfolio, but it's also investing in our people, our processes and technologies. Again, last plug, I'm going to encourage you all to go out and visit the trailer if you have not done so. Newport News Shipbuilding is a 137-year-old or year-young company. And we are a defense contractor. I tell people many times when they want to know who is Newport News Shipbuilding and what do you do, I say we're the reason why you sleep well at night. That's truth. And so, thank you. And so you do not want a 137-year-old company building nuclear-powered aircraft carriers and submarines, weapons, using old technology. So what we've done is we've bought the trailer out so that you can see how we are transforming our business operations and how we are using integrated digital shipbuilding to build our products today. So please, they took the time to set it up and to come out and demonstrate to you all. Please go visit them before you leave this evening. So we are investing in our processes and our technologies as well as our supplier, our facilities, and our supply base. Our workforce and the safety of our workforce is extremely important to us. And so we continue to focus on the safety. There were a lot of videos that were playing as you all were networking and connecting, and hopefully you heard the perspective of the shipbuilder. Our motto is that we want everyone to go home in the evening each day the same way that they came to work. What we do is very complex and it's very dangerous, and so the safety of our workforce is imperative. We must execute and perform on our contracts. We are a defense contractor, and we must, as Gary indicated, we recognize the constraints in the workforce. We are feeling some of the same pressures that many of your companies may be feeling. So our goal is always to grow new talent in our workforce. Perhaps I'm talking to you or someone that you know. And finally, again, we have to be competitive and perform on our contracts. So we are aggressively driving down cost reduction opportunities.
What is the best way for a small business to connect with Newport News Shipbuilding to establish that relationship for potential business?
Great question. So I am actually the small business manager at Newport News Shipbuilding. And my team, everybody raise your hand. Okay. So I brought the small business office to the event with me. So the best way is to talk to some of these people in this room. They have business cards. If you're tired of talking, it's been a long day, and so if you've had a long day, just go over to them and grab a card. They have a card that they can share with you. It has our contact information on it. It tells you where to go online, and you have my information here. That is my direct dial. People are always surprised when I answer the phone. I'm not sure why, or when I return their phone call, but yes, please.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
We wrap it up.
Thank you very much, Tom Danville, HRIC. Thanks to Tim for opening this up magnificently. Thanks to our sponsors. If you want to be one, you know what to do. Thanks to the Mariners Museum and Howard for gracious hospitality. And more than anything else, thank you to Newport News Shipbuilding for doing what you do for the region.